Alright, this is my initial impression video of the Pioneer PL-100 turntable that I bought online. It was from Used Victoria. I bought it locally here. Turntable dates back to late 70s. I'm saying probably thinking about 78, 77, 79 era. It is a plastic plinth on it. All metal tone arm. The tone arm actually looks pretty nice and well built with the standard Pioneer head shell on it. And right now it actually has a very cheap that came with it, so I haven't had a chance to replace it. I don't know if you can see it here. Gotta get the right light, but it's an Ion 2, which is kind of like a no-name brand cartridge. There you can just barely make out the nomenclature on it. Never really heard of it, can't find any information online about the cartridge. Not very impressed with the cartridge because obviously it's probably a cheap install just to sell the turntable, and it really accentuates the ticks and pops on the on records. That's why I'm playing an older, not as good a quality LP, one that I don't really care much about, even though I like the band, because I don't want to wreck my good vinyl until I get a good turntable cartridge put onto this thing. Got an AKG actually on order, or sorry, an Ortofon on order, so I should get that in about a week. I'm not actually giving it to, it's a gift for my nephew, or not nephew, sorry, my daughter's boyfriend, whose birthday is coming up. So he's lost his dual turntable, so I'm getting this to replace it, and I think he'll be happy. Once I get the cartridge installed, I'll get it all properly balanced. It is balanced right now, and I've done the protractor setup to get everything aligned correctly. But again, you can only do so much with a cheap cartridge. So I've got it integrated right now into my old Silver Series Pioneer system, which is my original system way back in 1978, so it's well suited to play the turntable. As an entry-level turntable, it's good. It's a belt drive. It's not obviously quartz locked or anything like that, because I believe that's only for direct drive. But you can see the strobe effect. It's actually pretty stable on speed. Same with does 45 and 33 and a third. Right now it's obviously 33 and a third. Rock stable on both speeds. The belt was recently replaced, so and of course the dust cover is in really good shape because he polished it out pretty good. Might have to do a little more polishing just to get it perfect, but there's no scratches or dings or anything in it. For an entry-level turntable, I'm actually quite impressed with it. Being plastic, obviously, it's not really super great at isolating from house vibrations and pounding and knocking about nearby. But if one is in a good sitting location and just listening, it plays quite well, as you can see. Even the dog likes it. So normally I don't play vinyl or analog on my system. I usually play digital sources from my virtual DJ that taps music that I have loaded on a hard drive, which you can see there, several terabytes. And then that's patched into my computer, which I've actually built into my Mexican Pine stereo stand. Basically this was this area here was open like that, so what I did was I just got a matching piece of pine, stained it accordingly just to match out, drilled holes for my power button and USB connectors, and basically tapped that into my display up on the screen so I can watch Netflix and TV and also run my sound software, whether it be Virtual DJ or Winamp or any number of FLAC players and whatnot. So basically that just feeds into a DAC in the back and then taps into one of the inputs on the back of the amplifier. In this case, I've just used one of the spare phono inputs. It's got 2 phono inputs on the amplifier, so I'm just using phono 1, which is normally empty. I'm even toying around with the idea of getting a turntable for myself just for old time's sake. So we'll see how that pans out. And I've got a tuner source and then of course an EQ, which I've got flatlined right now just to not add anything to the tone here. So there you can see that. Speakers are Pioneer HPM-100s, my babies. Oh, and of course, this is probably where you're going to hear all the ticks and scratches. It's winter. Yeah, here you can hear that. And the album is pretty clean, so I'm not really happy with the cartridge arrangement. And I have cleaned it and everything. So normally I set the EQ at for room settings. In this case I set it flat just so I didn't color the sound of the turntable at all. Obviously not really compensating for room acoustics, but I just wanted to hear what the turntable sounded like flat, and I'm impressed. I'm not happy with all the ticks and pops accentuated by the phono cartridge, but as I mentioned, it is a cheap cartridge. So there you have it integrated into my system, which is an old Pioneer Silver Series. So it's basically about the same vintage as the turntable itself. So recommended as an entry-level turntable, and obviously you have to set it up correctly. And I think it'll provide many hours of enjoyment to my daughter's boyfriend. But the turntable itself, it maintains speed fairly well. You can actually see the strobe in there. It's obviously 50 and 60 hertz strobes in there, so it's pretty solid. And you have your speed wheel there just to adjust things. And nice tone arm on it, well weighted. And with the anti-skating, I tested it on a flat part on the disc, and it doesn't skip across. It doesn't look like it's pulling in any directions. So very good entry-level turntable. Just needs a good cartridge, and I think my daughter's boyfriend will be quite happy with it. Thanks for watching.